Hello everyone, wait, where's my hair?
I snatched your wig.
You know that joke is super old, right?
I know, but I'm a cat burglar. I need something clever to say.
Ugh. Anyway, hello everyone, I'm Spaarkles and today I'm going to be making our cat burglar navigator, Nami. I hope y'all are excited for a really long video, cause this one is a doozy, more than the last two, so let's get started. I'm using this Ever After High, I believe, Papio hair doll, and I'm prepping her as normal, removing her hair, removing the head. Oh, whoops. That's one reason to use hot water. I didn't let the heat gun do enough work, so the neck peg came off with the head. Luckily, the rod that holds the neck peg in place is still intact and I can just push them back into the neck. Lucky save. Okay, time to continue. I use pliers to get the hair gunk out. Yuck. And I'm testing some new things out today. Head shrinking. No doubt you've seen Delightful and others do this, but I'm nervous. I take a jar, fill it with some acetone and a little water, and leave her head to pickle for a little while. While our head is looking like a specimen, I work on our body. I want to make the Straw Hats canonical with their heights. Nami is 5'7", so a little shorter than Luffy. I actually probably should have shortened Luffy a little bit since he's shorter than Zolo, but I wasn't confident in myself. I'll fix it later. Either way, Nami needs to be taller. I cut her in half with my Dremel and bring out the hot glue gun and wire. I twist two pieces together and fill her torso cavity with hot glue and stick the wire in there. This will come back to haunt me later, you'll see. I let that dry and mark the wire where I want to end her top half. And here comes more hot glue. Oof, sorry Nami, this looks brutal. Don't worry, Luffy's here to support you. Once it's completely dry, bring out my air dry clay to smooth out her torso cavity. There's another problem. One Piece ladies, especially Nami, have, how do I say this? Huge boobs. I mean some serious hongers. A real set of badonkers. Pack of some Dobon hongeros. Massive Dahunga Bengaloos. Big ol' ton hungry cougars. Humongous Hanananananagongas. So, sorry. While the air dry clay is out, I give her some big features. I don't really trust the air dry clay by itself, so I go over it again with my epoxy sculpt. I also go over her butt to give some extra padding too. I let her cure a little longer and my head is done pickling, or so I thought. After about 2 hours, I couldn't see much difference, so I grabbed another Ever After High doll that I had and compared head sizes. As I thought, little to no difference, so I put poor Nami back in her pickling jar with a little extra acetone for a little while longer. That's better. I carefully take her out of her jar and safely as I can, I put her head back on her body. Oh crap. The little rod holding the neck in place is gone. Okay, it was just stuck in the head. Okay, more carefully now. Put her head back on. That worked a lot better. Okay, now wait overnight for her head to shrink. I waited overnight and virtually nothing happened, so I did it again. And it turned out, nothing. Nothing happened again. I went out to get more acetone and I did the 100% acetone head shrinking method, and you'll see. It started off great. I left the head in acetone for about 2 hours. Her head is done soaking, so I check on it. It's a lot bigger than the acetone cut with water. I placed the head back on the body, went to do my J job, and when I came back 4.5 hours later, disaster. The acetone was leaking inside her head and had literally melted her neck. It was a disaster. I had to take her head off and of course the rod holding her neck peg melted too. Not that it would have helped anyway since where it goes also melted. I was so frustrated and had to walk away until the next morning. Looking at the damage, I thought the best thing I could do was use wire as a new rod and use epoxy sculpt to reshape the neck. I set it aside and we'll deal with it later. Some great news is, her head shrank to the perfect size. It's about the size of a Monster High, which I think is more appropriate. So does that mean... Yes! Finally time for the face up! I take her outside to spray with Mr. SuperClear, and don't forget your mask. Time for the face up. I'm using my Prismacolor watercolor pencils and my new pastels to bring life to Nami's face. I did get another question from Pufflet Flufflet Commissions on Instagram. What's your favorite outfit for Nami and what got you into customizing? My personal favorite outfit of Nami's is the Whole Cake Island outfit. Isn't it cute? I also really love her Zoe dress, which I like for different reasons. I actually really want to make both for myself eventually. If I ever do, I'll probably post it as a story on Instagram or something. And what got me into customizing? Delightful, of course. Well, mostly. When I was in high school, I was really into sculpture, and I was making a lot of sculptures with humans. I was very confident in myself. I was recommended a tutorial for yarn webs from Nicole's Dreams, and I spiraled into the doll customizing community from there. Keep the questions coming! Her body is back, and I did some final touches like more padding and filling out her back because the wire method I used to lengthen her torso isn't the best. The wire twisted around and her torso kept separating itself, and it was pretty annoying. But I did get it to stay, and now it's time to sand her for days. I'm using my normal filing stick. I think came with my UV lamp, which does come in handy a lot actually, plus a buffer tool from Walmart. I do my best to smooth her out the best I can before I paint her. I'm using acrylics, and you can tell this is not her shade. I fix it later. I noticed right after I painted her, her thighs aren't sanded well enough. Ugh, I need to wait for the paint to dry and sand some more. Still not perfect, but better. I'm not used to such extreme body mods, and making them look good is such a win for me. Makes me want to do more. Anyway, I go over her with my matte varnish. I let that dry, and then I bring out the watercolor pencils again to draw her tattoo. Very nice. While the pencils were out, I also bring the pastels back to shade her body like her face. Finally, I can attach her head back to her body. Oh my god, I'm so happy with it. Until disaster struck. I was making a wig cap for her hair. It was all fine until I took the second one off her head. My modified neck had cracked and fallen apart inside her head. At that point, a huge crack was running across her belly from where I extended her torso. I was frustrated once again, so I took a step back without the cameras to fix it. I had to boil some water to soften her head enough to get the neck peg out. Once I did get it out, I tried the same process again, but with no avail. I just twisted a wire to act as a similar neck peg with the same rod supporting it. Also, I'd moved onto her torso area, but you can see me realize I had a better idea to support her torso better. I drilled some holes and stuck some wires in there. I had to make sure they connected her top and her bottom so they would stay secure. I'm pretty sure I did 3 rods. I realized once it dried the wires were sticking way too far out and they were destroying my sanding blocks. So I brought out the Dremel to make quick work of it. And since it's secure, I can exaggerate her insane hourglass figure some more and secure and smooth it out with epoxy. I did the same process as last time with paint and matte varnish, and that brings us to now. I put her head back and started on her hair. A short bob and a long style. I'm using this type of yarn I got from Michaels, which if you can't tell is not the right color at all. Not a problem. I'm breaking out the Rit synthetic dye in orange to help. Welcome to my kitchen. Here I'm using a specified dye pot with a little bit of water and only about a tablespoon of dye. I cut off a piece of yarn to test and see how it works. In retrospect, the one end I left longer looks more like Nami's hair in the anime, but I kind of wanted a somewhat natural redhead look, so I left the final pieces for her hair and for a little shorter. I quickly take it over to my sink and wash out the dye. Ow! Be careful, your dye water is hot. Okay, once the water ran clear, I let it air dry. Once dry, I brush off the yarn best I could and make hot glue wefts because I was getting impatient. And use more hot glue to attach her wefts to the wig caps. Cute! Her short haircut kind of looks like a Karen, or my partner said a Pixar mom, but nonetheless her hair is done. Okay, clothes are always a doozy, so let's get it over with. I of course had to make multiple outfits because everyone else has them, but making clothes for Nami was especially annoying because she has more and I modified her body so much that I had to make even more patterns to fit her. For her first outfit, it's a blue and white striped shirt, and an orange skirt. Next is Doll-EAH Park with the green tank top, and jean shorts. Alabasta with her belly dancer outfit, which includes the skirt, bra or top, and a little jacket thing. Later on in Alabasta with the cover. Skypea with brown cargo shorts. And a blue camo bikini. Jumping all the way to Annie's lobby with a blue pleated skirt, a blue but actually brown, I'll fix that later, bra or top, and a jean jacket. Thriller Bark with the pink long sleeve top, a brown skirt, and her wedding dress. Yes, I know those are gloves, but I don't have extra hands to paint white around here, so long off the shoulder sleeves is the best I can do. Anyway, jumping to Saba Odie with a yellow top, paired with the jean shorts from earlier. Then post-time skip with skinny jeans. And a green bikini. Jumping to my favorite intro with an orange dress. And a white cover-up thing. I didn't make her Dressrosa outfit, but I probably will later. I did make her Zoe dress though. Her Whole Cake Island cottagecore dress, so cute. Interhanging it with beigey dress, also in Whole Cake. And jumping to Wano, I made her blue garb. I'm not sure what it's called. And her red garb going into the Battle of Onigashima. Phew, we're still not done yet. Time for accessories. I know I should have done this earlier, but whatever. Shoes are important, so I just painted some existing Monster High shoes with the close enough shape brown. And for Wano sandals, I took these Frankenstein shoes and cut off some stuff. And I threaded a ribbon through the toe area and some other stuff, and I finished it off with some paint. Time for her weapons. Her climate axe. I made 3 versions. Her original one, which just needed a coat of paint. Her perfect climate axe, which I tried to do all kinds of drilling at stuff trying to make beads work, but at the end I just ended up using clay. And then her sorcery climate axe, which I made 2 versions of because I don't know how to make it extendo, as I like to say. So I just sculpted some details on there and it looks pretty good. The last thing they need was a coat of paint. I did use tape to make the stripes, but it could have been better. It's okay, I used it as more of a guide and fixed it up. I did seal everything in with some varnish and then I was done. Okay, now some outfit accessories. As you probably saw, they were missing, so let's get to making them. Starting with her last outfit, her armor piece I made from fun foam and I stuck these pieces together with ribbon. I scored the foam to create general outline for the shapes and I painted it. For the intro, it was missing her cool hat. I tried multiple methods. First was heating up fun foam and smoothing it to her head. That didn't work no matter how much I wanted it to. I then tried splicing a circle and heating up, kind of better but not really. Paper mache applied to her head covered in plastic wrap worked better. Once it dried, I cut to shape, and then used some air dry clay to sculpt the bumpy hat part, and then painted the brim part, which is the only part I kept fun from. Her Zoe dress needed some beads, so I just made a string of yellow seed beads, which worked pretty well. And as an extra touch off camera, I sculpted her some mekans or tangerines in the English dub, and some berries. Or at least I tried. And now finally, after all this time, she's finally done! I'm not gonna lie, Nami really tested my patience. There were times I wanted to give up. A lot, actually. She was taking so long, and I got COVID halfway through working on her, so she was taking even longer. But I'm so happy I kept with her, and I'm so proud she's finally done. Is she perfect? Absolutely not. But she is so special to me for all those hardships I faced with her. I hope you love her as much as I do. And I'm not gonna lie, I kinda want to break from the Straw Hats at least for one more video. I hope y'all won't mind. Anyway, that's it. Click here to subscribe, click here for my latest video, and click here for video YouTube things you'll like. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for our Sniper Usopp, at least after Halloween. See you next time, bye!
海賊王に俺はならん